Hello, my viewers. I'm very glad that you're watching my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Teacher Jonathan Musau. Today, I want to take you through construction of parallelograms. Before we construct parallelograms, we need to understand better what are parallelograms. So I'll take you through some properties of parallelograms. And the first property, a parallelogram is a quadrilateral, meaning it's a four-sided figure. So just like a square, a rectangle, and a rhombus, and a trapezium, a parallelogram is a four-sided figure. That's why we call it a quadrilateral. It has two pairs of parallel lines. This line and this line are equal. That's a pair. This line here and the opposite line there are equal. Opposite angles are equal. This acute angle here and this acute angle here are equal too. Then this obtuse angle here and the other obtuse angle there are equal. Then it has two pairs of parallel lines. We have already seen that. Opposite sides are equal and parallel. This side and this side are equal and parallel. This side and this side are equal and parallel. Then adjacent angles are co-interior. Adjacent, this one and the adjacent one here, they are co-interior, meaning they add up to 180 degrees. Co-interior also called allied angles. So this being 40, for example, this will be 140 to add up to 180. Don't confuse adjacent and opposite. Then moving on, we are going to look at three questions. The parallelogram. Three questions that we are going to construct. Question number one. The diagram below is an incomplete parallelogram PQRS. Complete the parallelogram and draw diagonals QS and PR to intersect at T. So we are going to construct a parallelogram where we are given two lines. And in another question, we are going to construct parallelogram EFGH such that line GH is 7, H is 5, and angle GH is 45 degrees. Then later we shall find the length of half the longer diagonal. So in this question, we'll only give instructions, no line at all. We are going to construct that too. The third question, which is a bit tricky, and once it was tested in KCP, it tricked some candidates. So you better watch keenly when you start construction where the trick was, where we are constructing parallelogram PQRS, where the line PR here is a diagonal. So this line here is a diagonal. The first question, we were given the two lines of the parallelogram, but in this last question, we are given one line and a diagonal. So welcome. And take your set and get ready for the constructions. So straight away, we start with the first one where we are constructing a parallelogram PQRS, where we are given two lines PQ and QR. Remember, one of the properties we have learned is that the opposite sides are equal. So QR and PS, S will be somewhere here, are going to be equal. So I'll just take my compass and measure this line here. Transfer this measurement and stand at P and transfer that measurement up here, because this line is a duplicate of what will be here. So I just take my compass and then I measure the length of this line. I just expand it to be the radius of this line up to there. Yes. Then I lock my compass. Now I have the radius of QR, a line which is equivalent to QR. And because the opposite lines are equal, I stand here. I make a big arc here. Wherever I make that arc, it's the same as the measurement of this QR. If this QR is 8 centimeters, from P to this R will also be 8 centimeters. Then I remove the compass, and I know that from this line here, this line given here, the opposite line here starting at R will also be equal. So I take my compass, I place at Q, and then I try to make the radius to be the same as PQP, like that, exactly. Then I stand at point R, because I know the opposite line, which is going to be here, will be the same as QP. I transfer that measurement, and then the two arcs intersect there. So the first arc represents QR, which has been moved up here. The second arc represents PQ, which has been moved to this side here. So now I remove the compass, and then I join with the ruler. And this point that has been formed here is point S. So this is our point S. So I join from P to S, P to S, join, I draw a line there. Sorry, I draw a line there, like that. Then I draw another line from R to S to complete my parallelogram. Bear with me there. Good. Then I take my pencil, I draw a line from R to S. There we are. So that is our parallelogram, PQRS. Remember what we did? We took the compass, we measured the radius of QR, we stood at P, then we made an arc towards this direction. We removed the compass, we took a radius which is equivalent to QP, we stood at R, we made an arc, then we joined the arcs to complete. Then to draw the diagonals, you just join P and R and Q and S to draw the diagonals so that you can answer the questions you are told. Sometimes you can also be told to give the height of the parallelogram. So in this parallelogram, we don't have a height. Remember, a height cuts the base at 90 degrees. So here we don't have a height. So if you want to get the height of this parallelogram, we are going to draw a line that cuts the base QR at 90 degrees. So I drop a perpendicular from P to line QR so that I get the height. So to do that, I will take my compass. I take my compass, stand at point P, then I stretch the compass in such a way that it can make two arcs on this line. I tighten it. It can make two arcs, so I reduce it a bit. I'm trying to draw the height of this, so I check whether it can now make two arcs. Yes, it can make an arc on this side and on the other side of the line. So now I draw that standing at point P. Then I remove the compass. I stand at one of the places where it has cut the line. Then I make an arc down there. I stand at the other end here. Then I make an arc to join the other arc. Of course, if it doesn't touch, remember we said you just go back to where you had stood, then you prolong the arc. Yeah, like that. So now after that, I want to drop a perpendicular from P to here. So I get my ruler, then I join P to this part here. Yes, up to here. You have to be very accurate. Don't rush when you're constructing. So I'll just draw up to where it cuts the line. I will not draw up to the down here because I just want the height. So this is the height. I can call this part T, for example. T. This part here, I can call it T. I can call this part here T. So PT is my height. So moving on to the next question, question number 2. I don't know whether you still recall what question number 2 was saying. Question number 2, I can take you back. We start with question number 1. We have completed question 1. We are now in question 2, where we are told to construct parallelogram EFGH such that line GH is 7 centimeters, H is 5, and angle GH is 45 degrees. So to do this, we are going to use the instructions that we are given in order to construct that triangle. So the first instruction that we are given is that GH is 7 centimeters. So I draw a line which is 7 centimeters. I draw a line which is 7 centimeters long, starting at point 0. Let me move it a bit. the direction from 0 mark. Remember, we start drawing a line from 0 mark, draw up to 7, there. Then after that, remember we are told, we are given EH, line EH, which is 5 centimeters, and GHE, which is 45. So we first take our protractor to measure 45 degrees. 45 degrees. Remember, we are using the outer scale here. So if we count from 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 45 is somewhere there. So we take a pencil and mark where 45 is. 45 is there. Then we take our ruler to draw this line from this mark. For where 45 passes through. So we are trying to be very accurate, no rushing in construction. So we take a pencil to mark where 45 passes through. 45 passes through there. Then now we have G. We have line G ready. We have H. We have 45 degrees there. Now we want to cut EH, which we are told it's 5 centimeters. So we can take our ruler, we place it somewhere here. Then we take our compass and stretch it to mark 5 centimeters, which we are going to cut from H. 5 centimeters is up to there. So this will represent EH. I lock my compass, I remove my ruler, then I stand at point H, then I tilt my compass to cut now EH, which is 5 centimeters. So I just cut like that. So that represents EH. In the compass, this is now EH, which is 5 centimeters. Remember, this is GH, which is 7 centimeters. This is EH, which is 5 centimeters. So we want now to complete the construction of this parallelogram. We have GH and we have EH there. So to complete this parallelogram, remember what we did in the first one. We transferred this measurement here to here because the opposite sides are equal. So I'm going to take my compass, stretch it to give me the radius of GH, like that. Then after that, I stand at point, let me lock it. I stand at point E, and I transfer that measurement here. I make an arc here. This radius represents GH because we want a line which is the same as GH. That's why I've measured the radius of GH. Then EH should starting from G should be the same as from G to F. So I measure HE with my compass again. I unlock my compass and measure EH there, and I lock it. Remember, this measurement here is this line here is the same as the opposite line, which would be here. So I take my compass, I stand at point G, I cut an arc. So the two lines now intersect. So they intersect here. So now I join with a ruler from this point. I join there. Then I also join this point here. Remember, the new point that we're getting is point F. Joined there. Just to be very accurate. So we draw a line there to represent, yeah. After completing, now I call this point F. So this is my point F. So my construction is over now. I can follow another instruction. Now, after constructing this, I'm able to answer any question. If I want to draw the diagonals, I can now draw the diagonals. Then I'll be able to measure the diagonal and so on. So the basic part of the construction I'm through. Going to the last question now, where we are constructing a parallelogram. We are constructing a parallelogram where we are given PR is a diagonal. PR is a diagonal. I said earlier this was a tricky when it was tested to pupils. So most pupils went ahead to draw the parallelogram moving in this direction, completing it like this, S being at this point. That was wrong because remember the instruction is that PR is a diagonal. So PR should be inside. So what I will do is I will first join R to Q. When I join R to Q with a ruler, I join R to Q. I'll be able to understand it now that this line given here is a diagonal. I first join RQ because this was a diagonal. So this is the other side of the robust of the parallelogram, sorry. The parallelogram. So I use my pencil, I join RP like that. So now, as you can see, now you have a sense now that this PR should be inside because it's a diagonal. So my parallelogram should be in this direction, should be here so that the diagonal can be inside. So I want PQ, which is up here, the same as RS. So RS and PQ are going to be the same. So I'm going to get my compass, I measure PQ, measure PQ up to there. Yes, up to there. And then I stand at point R. I stand at point R. Then I try to make an arc using the radius of PQ because PQ and RS are the same. PQ and RS, which are opposite, are the same. After that, I want to transfer QR, the measurement of QR, to be here at PS because QR and PS, which would be here, are the same. So I measure my PQR. I bring the compass in such a way that it can stretch the radius of QR up to there. I lock it. Then I bring the compass here. Bring the compass there. Then I now want to make an arc that will intersect the first arc here. Remember, the radius I've taken is for QR, and QR will be the same as PS, which is opposite. Opposite lines are equal. So I'm having a radius which is the same as QR. So now I draw an arc which will intersect the other arc there. So now I have my point. I have my point S. So I take my ruler, I complete my construction. And then I draw a line there. Good. And I join this one here. To join to make point RS. Yes, I draw with a pencil there. And there is my point S. There is my point S. Right, point S there. Now looking at it now, you see now there's no more trick because PR, as the instructions were saying, PR was a diagonal. So this is one of the diagonals now, as you can see. So the parallelogram was not supposed to move in this direction. It was supposed to move in the opposite direction so that PR can be inside. So you were first to join from Q to R, then you take from P to Q, transfer that measurement from R to S with an arc, then you measure QR with your compass, you stand at P and cut an arc, and where the two arcs meet, you join to get point S. So we have now PR is a diagonal as the instruction was saying. So from there, you're able to draw the other diagonal, you're able to do another instruction you are given. Thank you so much for watching, and soon I will also show you how to construct a trapezium. Bye for now.